Okay, so you're going to have to excuse the bed hair, I'm not going to lie, because I get it into my head sometimes as I'm sort of lay on the sofa after waking up, and I think, I want to write on that, and it's the aftermath of abuse. And I know a lot of people have come to me and followed me because of the Harry and Meghan stuff, which I will still speak on, because to me there's a connection to that in me, but my ultimate goal is to create awareness for the aftermath, and I'm not going to lose myself in what I came here to do, in all that is celebrity in that world, because the reality is there are people living like this, and I share my story, I share my thinking, I share my connections of dots in understanding the me and the now after growing up in abuse, in how I can choose a better me. And I just want to share that in the hope that another person can connect through me to the realities of the overwhelming unbalance they feel as the confusion sets in, as they constantly censor themselves because of the sheer responsibility they feel that they have on everyone else. So I've wrote a letter to responsibility and me. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know it's very niche, but there is a reality that it is out there, and there will be a trigger warning because I'm delving into the reality of the aftermath of domestic violence and what it has done to me, you know? Responsibility and my aftermath is something I've had to fight so hard to overcome. And I know many shall relate. I simply offer these words in a form of a link and a connection from my story to yours in the aftermath of abuse, and the things that will cause my mind and heart so much harm with a battle so strong to overcome. It began for me in that need to remain quiet and not react a certain way, to maintain that charade of everything is okay. The game in this regime, you like me, had no choice but to play, with huge responsibility masked all over my face to keep all around me safe from the one who had no care in those moments of anger so strong, to protect my brothers, sisters and mom, and equally the same for them to me. This pack-like mentality, the true existence of a life in DV, a theatre of pain and a mime of silence to keep the eruption away, kept on best behaviour whilst trying to be everyone's saviour. But the biggest one is your responsibility to them, the abuser and their pain, with that trauma bond so big into which they would only be able to take again. Your heart racing in that feeling of guilt, a feeling of sadness as you now carry their anguish, whilst that fear spikes a fear of the backlash you know so well, such intense emotional reactions to meet their satisfactions. So let's connect a dot from that regime to now, in how every word you speak gets censored in fear. Every word you hear becomes a threat to your ear, desperately trying to reason with your mind and navigate the risk, even when it's spoken in kind. That responsibility to fix all around you, pain you see and felt with the hand you were dealt. Responsibility over every action you provide, and how it left me at times in my life overwhelmed. But now in my journey of connecting the dots in my once story to now, it enables me to find a peace in myself, to understand with balance that these feelings of irrational doubt I place over myself are just another layer I gained in my story. As I now find validation for myself, I could never make sense to the letdowns I had, but what I can do is take the good from the bad and use all I can to make sense of me, to learn to be a better me, to let go of this PTSD whilst understanding it will always be a part of me. For now I understand if I carried so much guilt and responsibility over the one who hurt me so bad, then naturally, with the bar set so high, all beneath would be doubt and felt in my direction, and in the same way as it's always my responsibility. But I believe with understanding your story, that then in the now, we can choose to lower that bar we know so well and bring some balance our way in the rational understanding that every blame is not mine or yours to claim. Every pain we do not need to fix. A silence I no longer need to fear, as I now propel myself over that bar that I now see so clear. And obviously, I'm not a doctor, not a specialist, I've not got a PhD, I'm just a person who lived a life, who got stuck in the aftermath of abuse and all that anguish and pain, all these layers that had been built up in such a way, in how it left me silenced in my now, in my happy home, a trigger here, there and everywhere as I tried to navigate myself. I share my thoughts, my feelings as I try in make peace with myself in the now, and I share that with you in the hope that it would shine through. A glimmer, no longer a trigger, a way to move forward and past this bar of heavy weight burdened on our mind from once upon a time.